I'm super excited because this has been a long time coming. It's been something I've wanted to do for a long, long time and something that my readers have asked for. Thank you guys for a long, long time. But I have a series called the Peachtree Bluff series, and it is slightly south of Simple, The Secret to Southern Charm, and The Southern Side of Paradise. And I said I was finished with it and I wasn't writing anymore. And then I wrote Christmas in Peachtree Bluff, and I said I was finished with it and I wasn't writing anymore. And then I got an idea. So I have a book called Falling for Peachtree Bluff, and it is, as you could probably tell from the title, sort of a fall themed iteration of the Peachtree Bluff series, and it is coming September 15th, 2026. So I am so over the moon to like revisit Peachtree Bluff and the Murphy women and all their new stories and scandals. So this is written from all of the sisters' points of view, and they all have kind of like a major thing that they're grappling with. But the central part of the story is that there is something big that happens in Peachtree Bluff, and it looks like perhaps Ansley's husband Jack could be involved and at the center of this, and kind of could really upend a lot of what we know about Peachtree Bluff and the Murphy family. So I remember when I pitched this series off the cuff on a phone call to an editor that I had never worked with before, which was absurd. She just said to me, "Hey, I think you should write a series." And I was like, "Oh, what if I write about these three sisters and their mom and this small town and a big secret from her past that, threatens to tear them all apart?" And I think for one, I really modeled Peachtree Bluff after Beaufort where I live, but we didn't live here full time at the time, and so the Beaufort of Peachtree Bluff, I say, is like the Beaufort of, my weekends and my summers. And it's a little bit, but this is a place kind of full of quirky characters and really just interesting people. And so I really wanted to capture that in this book and kind of some of the town dynamics. I mean, like things that I write about in these books they're just true. Like we have a parade for everything. There's just a parade all the time. You'll just walk out the door and you're like, "Oh my God, we're having another parade. What are we having a parade for now?" And it's glorious. Like it's just absolutely wonderful, and it's beautiful, and it's on the water, and it's picturesque, but it's also just so like full of these kind of silly, wonderful traditions. And so I think Peachtree Bluff in and of itself, I really wanted to kind of be a character, and I hoped that it would really kind of stay with people because it is a place really, it's fake, but it's really near and dear to my heart. And then I think there's something about sisters that the dynamic is just very interesting, and especially part of the thing that inspired this book is my mom saying to me how difficult it was to parent grown children. And, I wrote this book ages ago, so I was, sort of entering adulthood myself. So I was pretty young when I wrote these, but I think there's something really interesting about that dynamic about, Ansley is kind of in this sandwich generation where she's parenting these three adult daughters, which is very difficult, and she's grandmothering, but then also her own mother is having health struggles, and I think people could kind of relate to that. But I think the sisters, Caroline, Sloane, and Emerson, are kind of the heart and soul of this novel, and I really used birth order to kind of form them. Caroline is take charge, she's in control, she tells everyone what to do, and kind of they resist, but they also sort of fall apart without her. She is the classic oldest sister. And then Sloane is just that sweet middle child who is always the peacemaker and always in between everything. And then Emerson is much younger, and she's the actress, and she's dramatic, and she follows her own path, and everything is very amped up. And I think one of the things that I tried the hardest to do in this series is to give those sisters very distinct relationships. So Caroline and Emerson's relationship is very different from Caroline and Sloane's relationship, etc. And going back to my mom, I mean, she's one of four sisters, and truly, she can be on the phone and I can tell you which sister she's talking to. Like, just because they all have such different relationships, and and they're all very close. It's not like she doesn't get along with them, or they're just all very different, and they grew up in the same house, doing the same things, same ballet shoes, same parents, same whatever. But they're all so different. And I'm like, how does this happen? So, I think maybe, I don't know, I can't really put my finger on it, but I think there's something about just those family dynamics, that small town charm. I hope it's a place that, people want to live, and a family that they want to be a part of. And I think maybe that's what it is for me. Like it's a family I want to be a part of. Actually, somebody asked me recently on a podcast, like, have you ever influenced anyone to move to Beaufort because of your Peachtree Bluff series? Which honestly, people have told me, which is like the nicest compliment ever. But I was like, yes, me. I influenced myself to move there because we didn't live here when I wrote this series. And I think the process of writing this series was also sort of this process of like falling in love with this town for me. And we've lived here full time for, gosh, 8 years now.